Welcome to SEGA News Bits. I'm Barry. George's head exploded from all the news that hit at SEGA Fes 2018, so he won't be joining me on these episodes. However, I thought I'd just share my thoughts, as well as the news itself, of what came out of SEGA CEO Haruki Satomi's presentation. So we're going to split these into a few videos, and so in this one we are going to be talking about Sega Genesis games and classic games that are being brought to home consoles. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was Sega Ages. And what is this? Well, it's a new line of games from M2, the creators of the 3D Classics games, as well as several other ports over the history of Sega. They do a great job, and I can't wait for these. So what these are is they are essentially 3D Classics releases, but on the Nintendo Switch. And they will be releasing a small amount of games at first, and then it's going to grow into a series just like 3D Classics did. So the first three games that they've revealed is Sonic the Hedgehog, Thunder Force 4, and Phantasy Star. So we have one Master System game and then two Genesis games. That's pretty exciting. I mean, Thunder Force 4 I think is the biggest one of these. The other two, Phantasy Star and Sonic, have seen a lot of ports over the years, but it's going to be great to see them on the Switch and also to see what M2 includes. Overall, I think that's a really great announcement because I loved the 3D Classics line. In fact, George and I would sometimes say they were our favorite games of the year in those slow years that we've had years past. And so that's going to be really exciting. From what we can tell, they're going to start releasing in the summer in Japan, and they're coming west as well, and there will be 15 or more games, and we don't have much more information beyond that, but it's exciting, and I think it's also maybe a small reason why we're not seeing the Sega Genesis Classics release on the Switch, because there would be a little crossover there with some of the Genesis games. Here's the other announcement, and some people were going pretty crazy for this. I was skeptical. So what it is the Sega Genesis Mini was announced at SEGA Fes, again as part of Haruki Satomi's presentation, and it looks basically like a straight up, I don't want to say rip-off, but inspired by the NES and SNES Mini. We do not know how many games it will play, however it does not have a cartridge port, and just before I started recording this actually, it was announced that AtGames is the one creating this, so it's not internal from Sega. Maybe Sega will be working on maybe the menus, and of course they'll be picking the games, but it's a licensed product. From what it sounds like, it's going to be featuring new technology, so that's exciting. Hopefully they fix a lot of the bugs that people have complained about in the past. I have not played the Sega Genesis Flashback, which is a Sega Genesis that takes cartridges and also has packed-in games, but from what I've heard, the sound is not that great, and I think the video quality is good, and I believe too it has save states. So this essentially is like a stripped-down version of that, but potentially with better AV quality. And I just wanted to address something too. So some fan sites have been reporting that Sega's returning to the home console market. That's complete bullshit. This is a plug and play. We've seen these dozens of times over the years since Sega stopped producing consoles. It's a licensed piece of hardware. You plug it in, you play a set amount of games. If they released something like a Steam machine or something that takes proprietary discs or cartridges that were Sega exclusive games, that would be re-entering the home console market. I'd love to see a Dreamcast too. I'd love to see anything really, but that's not what this is. I'm excited for these releases, and you can check out the other video where we talk about another game that is returning. Don't forget that you can support us on Patreon. We have a new show called SEGA News Bits Extra, which covers the smaller bits of news that did not make it into our main YouTube channel, so you can check that out. Thanks for watching, and in the comments below, let us know what you think of these new announcements from Sega. Are you going to check these out? Will it make you buy a Switch? And do you trust AtGames? That's the real question.